Nigeria's political landscape has been jolted by a dramatic legal development that many observers are already describing as one of the most explosive in recent years. The Department of State Services, DSS, has formally initiated criminal proceedings against former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, accusing him of serious cybercrime-related offenses. The charges were filed at the Federal High Court in Abuja and stem from allegations that he unlawfully intercepted telephone communications belonging to the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu. The case has generated intense national attention, not only because of the personalities involved, but also due to the unusual circumstances surrounding the allegations. According to court filings submitted before the Federal High Court, the former governor is facing a 3-count charge connected to the alleged illegal interception of sensitive communications. Legal analysts say the case could set a precedent for how admissions made in public interviews may be used in criminal prosecutions. The controversy began shortly after Nasir El-Rufai appeared on a live television program on Arise News. During the widely viewed broadcast on February 13, 2026, Nasir El-Rufai made statements that have now become central to the prosecution's argument. In the course of the interview, he referenced intercepted phone conversations involving the National Security Advisor. The remarks, which many initially interpreted as political rhetoric, have since been cited in formal court documents as evidence of possible wrongdoing. According to the charge sheet, the first count alleges that Nasir El-Rufai admitted during the Arise TV interview that he and certain associates had access to and listened to telephone conversations involving the National Security Advisor. Prosecutors argue that such actions constitute a violation of Section 12(1) of the Cybercrimes Prohibition, Prevention, and Amendment Act 2024. That section criminalizes the unlawful interception of electronic communications without proper judicial authorization. The second count against Nasir El-Rufai claims that during the same interview, he acknowledged awareness of individuals who carried out the alleged interception but failed to report them to appropriate security authorities. The prosecution contends that this omission contravenes Section 27B of the Cybercrimes Act, which requires individuals with knowledge of certain cyber offenses to notify law enforcement agencies. The third and perhaps most far-reaching allegation asserts that the former governor's own televised comments form a substantial portion of the evidence against him. During the interview, Nasir El-Rufai reportedly remarked that someone had tapped the phone of the National Security Advisor and that he had personally listened to conversations in which directives were allegedly given concerning his potential arrest at an airport. When pressed by the interviewer about how he obtained such information, Nasir El-Rufai responded in a manner that suggested his camp had access to communication monitoring capabilities. In a moment that has since been replayed across social media platforms, Nasir El-Rufai reportedly stated that the government should not assume it is the only entity capable of monitoring phone calls. He further acknowledged that intercepting calls without court approval is technically unlawful, but claimed that such practices are not uncommon within government circles. Those remarks, prosecutors argue, amount to a public admission of involvement in unauthorized surveillance activities. Legal experts note that while public statements can sometimes be dismissed as political exaggeration, they may also be admissible as evidence if they indicate knowledge or participation in criminal conduct. In this instance, the prosecution appears to be relying heavily on the recorded interview to substantiate its claims. The timing of the charges has also raised eyebrows. They were filed just a day after Nasir El-Rufai marked his 65th birthday in a highly publicized manner. On February 16th, he reportedly visited the headquarters of the Economic and Financial Corruption Commission, EFCC, accompanied by a large crowd of supporters. What was expected to be a routine appearance quickly turned into a celebratory gathering, with attendees singing birthday songs and transforming the premises into what critics described as a political rally. At the time of the birthday event, Nasir El-Rufai was already under scrutiny over separate corruption-related investigations. His decision to celebrate at the EFCC office was widely interpreted as a bold political statement, possibly aimed at projecting confidence amid mounting legal pressures. However, the announcement of cybercrime charges the following day dramatically shifted the narrative. Political commentators are divided over the implications of the case. Supporters of Nasir El-Rufai argue that the charges are politically motivated and designed to silence a vocal critic. They contend that his comments on Arise News were taken out of context and exaggerated for legal effect. On the other hand, critics insist that no public official, current or former, should be above the law, especially in matters involving national security. The broader issue raised by the case concerns the balance between national security, political rivalry, and the rule of law. Unauthorized interception of communications is considered a serious offense in most democratic societies, particularly when it involves high-ranking officials responsible for national defense and intelligence coordination. If proven, the allegations could have far-reaching consequences not only for Nasir El-Rufai, but also for the political environment in Nigeria. As proceedings commence at the Federal High Court in Abuja, the nation watches closely. The case promises to test the strength of Nigeria's cybercrime legislation and the judicial's willingness to enforce it against powerful political figures. Whether the charges will ultimately result in conviction or be dismissed remains to be seen, but the episode has already reshaped conversations about surveillance, accountability, and political discourse. For now, Nasir El-Rufai faces a legal battle that could define the next chapter of his political career. What began as a televised exchange has evolved into a courtroom showdown, underscoring the unpredictable intersection of media, politics, and the law in contemporary Nigeria.